We're at the Wilmer Jennings Gallery in the East Village, 2nd Street between B and C. We're going to check out the pinhole photography of Veronica Saddler, who, although she left this planet 2 years ago, has left us with something that is lasting, just like the buildings that she photographed. The more I look at Veronica's work, I feel as if it's like photographs of flowers, something delicate and beautiful. Jefferson Market Library used to be the tallest building in New York City in the 19th century. You could be at the top of it and look and see the whole city. And these are the kind of things that Veronica appreciated about these different studies, if you want to call them that. I mean, she liked to think about not only the beauty, but the integrity of the sculptures. I call them sculptures. But that's what they are. I mean, they're magnificent pieces, and she felt some kind of affinity for them, I think. And also, she was able to teach that to young students in the Bronx and other places, to show them the value of their environment and a way to express themselves through photography. Gee, Veronica, I'm glad I knew you. My name is AMIR Bey, and I'm sitting here with Joe Wippler.
Yes, sir.
Great muralist and also a compatriot of Veronica's. And you know, like, so you and her were one of the first artists at Bronx River to have a studio, correct?
Yeah, we came into Bronx River in '89, '90. The place was an abandoned factory. It was a sewing factory at one point. The building is at least, well, now it's got to be 120, turn of the century. It was right on the banks of the Bronx River. And the 3rd and 2nd floor were empty. You know, it was a well of creativity there because I believe it's because of the Bronx River upstairs, man, the program with the kids coming in, and there was an after-school program and summer programs, and there was a gallery downstairs, and it had a flow of creativity, you know. And the neighborhood also has a history of hip-hop comes out of the Bronx River projects, which was down the way, the Bronx River projects, which was down the way, and so the area had that history. Veronica came in 1990, I believe.
90, 91, something like that.
91 in that time frame. Memory's a little hazy. And she set up on the 2nd floor, and she set up a dark room down there, small dark room.
Yeah, she built a dark room.
She built a dark room, and she was a very industrious lady. You know, just went and got things done.
Veronica was bringing pinhole photography to kids whose parents could not afford to get them a camera, and they had access to the dark room. So they could do all this work themselves, and then they could then make, you know, like, and then they developed darkroom skills, which a lot of photographers are not involving themselves in as much.
Right.
So she was really, I think, an inspiring influence in many ways, because also then the themes of the work then had to be the community. You know, because pinhole photography, you're not going to have action shots of the family. You know, you're gonna have you know, so
very
the kids
static,
are
right.
Yeah, so the kids are looking and they're appreciating the environment that they're in. I think that when she got there, I think that it was really something that opened up a lot of possibilities for her. And one of them was her ability to look at the environment. Like, you know, her photography is about environment. I mean, it's about the buildings, the architecture, and she was able then to communicate that love and interest to her students. And so maybe the students did not look at the buildings in their community as something that was where they could express themselves by documenting it. And so she showed them, I think, not only just the beauty, but the importance of the community that people lived in.
Right. So this work, you would say that the root of it stems from her time at Bronx River, would you say, and the influence of the place?
I think that's when she really started really doing it, and that's when I saw, like, you know, when I would go to her studio, I mean, she had all these photos of different projects, I could call it. She was working on photo projects,
In her work, you could kind of see, they always have like this dream quality to them, you know, like I guess it's because of the pinhole photography, the nature of it. It gives it like like an archaic kind of a look, like it's from another time. Even though they're relatively
like 19th century sort of.
Like 19th century, like it's Prague or something. You know, like it doesn't look like the Bronx. You know, it looks like this other place. You know, and it has that kind of a quality to it. And I'm looking at that piece right there with that tower. You know, with the rain and the stream. You know, that's a beautiful piece. You know, and they're also they look like snapshots of you know, of memories from another time, you know. So they have a timeless quality.
Slow shutter speed, you know, and she, very meticulous. I was looking at some of her notes, and you know, like she would have like some of these like 3-minute exposure or 2.5-minute exposure, and then the boxes she put them in, they would be like maybe 4 inches.
She made all those boxes.
Yeah, she made those boxes. Well, most people, like if they're doing pinhole photography, you know, that's the thing about it. It's really a hands-on thing. You know, like you just make the box. You know, it's a very simple kind of thing. You don't have to go to you know, B&H and get like some high quality stuff. She made her cameras from, one of them was like a box that, that some kind of film had gone in. It was about like this wide and this thick and this tall, like this. And
put the film in the back, and then
put the film in the
it's got to be really light proof.
Yeah, it has to be light proof.
It's like common a scooter. You know, then you punch a little hole and you put the film in the back, but you got to make sure that you got to assemble it in the dark room, right? They got to put the film in there and then seal it so no other light could get in there, no ambient light could get in, and then the only way, and then the pinhole, you put a tape on it, right? You put
tape on it.
And then you lift it, and you sit it, and then you lift it, and you let it sit there. And then however long you let it sit, the clearer the image.
About 3 or 4, for her it was about 3 or 4 minutes. She would have the paper in the back and then expose it, and then from there, then she would make, you know, like the negative. I mean, she's got a few things like examples of that, where you see it's a negative, and then you see that there's the positive. So it was a different approach. You know, she didn't take this to a photo developing place.
Yeah, she did it herself.
Yeah, she did it. And so all of that, I'm sure for the children must have been very magical for them to watch, and also giving them access to determining certain things about their environment. She would look at a certain site and she would be able to see what is a good time light-wise. You know, and so a lot of these shots were taken at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And probably like, you know, I mean, if you look like the Flatiron Building photograph, you know, that's a very busy corner. But of course, because of pinhole photography, because it's slow shutter speed, you don't see the activity. You don't see the cars, you don't see people walking. You know, you just see the building and the structure. And because she's so meticulous, if you see like the shadows, like on some corners, or the circle, I think she was manipulating that angle, and then also she's selecting maybe what view that she wants to look at. You know, like I'm looking at some of them now, and you can see that, yeah, where that shadow is, which is, let's say that's the edge of the hole that she punched into the cardboard, that she used it in such a way that that's what she got. But she, of course, took several shots so she could select which one she likes over some others. So I think that she, you know, everything that we're looking at is, I think it requires more of a focus than if you have like a really good camera and you're shooting, because, you know, there's so much focusing that you can do with a regular kind of camera, and angles, and then you can take so many shots because you can just go click, click, click. But with pinhole, like she's doing 3 or 4 minutes at a time.
And these are like from what year? These are.
These span like from the 80s to the 90s. Yeah. All right. The background, okay, the light of the background, it really looks like a huge sun setting or rising.
Behind it, yeah.
You know, like it has a certain light to it. And there she's manipulating it because the dark side is really, that's just the edge of the hole.
Right.
That is not,
the way the leaves there, all you're seeing is the silhouette of the leaves.
It's really an experience. I mean, just to look at her work like this and to notice it in ways that I'd never noticed it before, in terms of, you know, you're looking at it all at once, I mean, all together, and you're seeing different approaches, but then also some similarities between them, and, you know, and that how original she was, you know, but she's left us something, I think. For me, the mystery of a pinhole photograph is the movement that is not evident, and that you're just looking at the whole scene. Like, you know, you're looking at like this car. You look at everything that is static, that is not in motion, and yet, you know, her perspective, I think, is something that.
That's what I'm looking at here. Is this perspective? This angle. That she's got that triangular shape at the bottom of the asphalt, and then it goes into like it's like a crossroads when you look at it, because there's one road going to the left, one to the right, and then one still going up through the middle. So you got, you know, all these different paths. It's interesting that the piece has all these different paths. Like you could take which road you're going to take, right, in this particular frame.